Okay. So the context of today's conversation is to help you understand what are the next logical steps. So after you have come in and joined, initially we have put in some X amount of time for you to get used to the new normal. When I say new normal, your routines are generally random. We remove the randomness from the routine. When I say randomness from the routine, if you're sitting at home or if you're doing it on your own, what might happen is you will act according to your mood of the day or mood of the hour. Sometimes you feel like doing something, so your feeling and doing are connected. So we disconnected doing and feeling. How many of you realize that? How many of you are able to do whatever is needed to be done, irrespective of what you're feeling? Quick show of hands. How many of you are able to do things irrespective of what you're feeling? How many of you are able to understand it? So the doing and feeling gap is what we are disconnected. So this is a fantastic weapon because you may feel anything, but you end up doing what needs to be done. Okay, so this is the beauty of having control over your day. So this is mission accomplished. All of you are doing a fabulous job and disconnecting your feeling and doing, and we'll do more of this as we proceed forward. You might be. Let's look at this. There is a doctor who is doing a open heart surgery. Now, if his hands are moving according to what he's thinking within, how risky it is for the patient, right? So when you're preparing or writing an important attempt or doing something which is very important in your life, things get extremely riskier if you link what you feel and what you do. So that is the first step which we are able to remove. That is sorted. Second, in the three-stage preparation process, probably I'll take a whiteboard to help you understand. Yeah. So we were discussing the, are you able to see the whiteboard now? So we talk about the process, place, and people. Okay. Place, one is the physical place, whether it's Varuna, Vayu, Teja, all of this, it's a physical place wherever you're staying. The other one is the psychological or mental space. Okay. So it is about your mind space. So we are connecting physical place and mind space. We're working on it. Right now, you're staying in areas which are exclusively meant for studies. Again, at home, you live in a study room. You might have a study room, which is only 10% of the entire place. Here, the entire place is built for studies. Every other activity is reversed. So 90% for studies, 10% for something else. So it's a complete flip. So this is sorted. The other thing, mind space. At home or earlier, you might have many things in your mind. There are many things in your mind which occupy your attention. Now, this becomes a center stage. If you think of what all you have in your mind, most likely it's the subject plus something else. It's a significant flip. So, in terms of mental space and mind space, you might have observed significant difference. And this will be sustained. The best part is it happening once in a while is a different ecosystem, but it getting sustained will add a lot of value in terms of what you can do on a given day. Okay, so this is about the place part. Now, people, first is you. When I say you, a super student, I explained the difference between a struggling student and a super student the other day. So if you have a stable mindset and a productive routine, the difference between struggling student and super student is these two. Once you become a super student, next you'll have a study buddy. Right now, most of you have a room partner and they will evolve into a study buddy in a couple of weeks once you start interacting. So we'll have one person who will always be there with you. Again, for you to have the other person, you should be a super student, and then next comes the study buddy. And apart from that, you have exemption expert, you have residential mentor, you have other mentors. So this whole system is sorted. So with these two interventions, we are streamlining the process as we proceed forward. We are further streamlining it, further streamlining it. So this is a continuous process. So apart from all of this, there is a secret formula, because now I think this video is also streamed live, which means a lot of people, including our competitors, would be watching this. No matter how many attempts they try to replicate and copy us, they cannot do this, because these three things we are very open and clear about what we do. There is a secret ingredient at the center. What it is defines your success, because at the center, over and above this process, this place, and people, we have something else. Now, this is the differentiator. This is the game changer. This is a critical success factor which we constantly try to sharpen. So this is one thing which differentiates everything. Now, these are easy to understand. This is intangible and it is difficult to explain. It's difficult to understand. So obviously, it is difficult to replicate or copy. So over and above what you experience here, there is a magical factor which happens at King Live School, and that is the reason why we'll be able to produce those results. Now, what it is, probably I'll share at a personal level at an appropriate time to each and every one of you. But right now, that's how it is. So as long as you take care of these three, I'll be able to focus on this. Okay, I hope you're able to understand this. So the physical place and the mental space is something which you have to constantly work on. So as we are moving ahead, you see the interventions, and probably by August 15th, everything will be seamless. Like each of you will be given a permanent study space. Each of you will be given a fixed sleeping space. Over and above, there will be common study spaces, there will be common sleeping spaces, okay, for discussions and other things. So that way, you'll know where to park your books, you'll know where to go every single day, everything is sorted. Over and above, for exceptions, it's different. Initially, it is done with a particular purpose so that you can bond and gel with each other. From now onwards, once you understand each other, we'll look into the other things. Okay, this is about the process. We'll discuss more and more of this. Now, I am quickly moving on to the other dimension. So what is the other dimension? We have 5 steps. Step number 1, mindset. Step number 2, routine. This is about super student. Apart from that, the next 3 steps: syllabus completion, effective revision, and exam presentation. These are the next 3 things. These are linked to the exam. Once you fix your mindset and routine, next comes the combination of the exam part. Now, for you to understand how the exam works, let me directly move to ICA. Now, once we are talking about HLS here, now from HLS, let's take the next turn to ICA. I'm sharing a document. I'm sharing the screen with you. So help me understand if you're able to see the screen. Is the screen visible? Not yet. Okay, just a second. Is it visible, guys? Screen. Yes. Okay. Now this is the holy grail of your CA final. There are multiple insights, multiple input from many people, some of the relevant, but this is a real story. Now this has the syllabus, objective, weightage. Scope. Syllabus is what? Okay, what is the syllabus? Scope. Objective is why. And weightage is how much. That's it. These are the 3 things you need to know. What are you learning? Why are you learning? How much you need to learn? As simple as it. Now, we'll make you go through this at an appropriate time. Every letter given in this will be given as a blueprint onto your mind. Next time when we talk about it, you should not have this as a reference. Now, what I'm showing on the screen, we should be able to talk about it. Let's say AFM. The other day, we are trying to have a discussion about AFM. When I say chapter number 4, you should be able to understand what the chapter is. When I say chapter number 15, you should be able to know. When I say chapter number 7, you should be able to categorize. So this, all of this, which are you are looking on the screen, it has to become a blueprint onto your mind. We'll get there. But in terms of understanding this particular subject, there are different objectives for different papers. So currently, since the context of the discussion is largely about your financial management, I'm directly jumping into financial management. We'll do it for all the papers. Okay. So financial management, it has a very simple objective, single line, simple objective to apply financial management theories and techniques in decision making. So if you look at it, I think today in the morning I was discussing with a couple of guys regarding this. So we are talking about, you know, uh, decision making. So earlier, that is the reason why it was actually called strategic financial management. Now, anyways, it's advanced financial management. So this is one chapter where you are forced to take decisions. Financial reporting, there is no decision making in financial reporting. Format based problem solving approach would do, right? So this is one paper where you are forced to take decisions. Now, for you to take decisions, the base has to be built in a very strong manner. So in order to do this, what did we do in the initial stage? In the last couple of days, I made you through complete the entire index. So index mapping is done, and I mentioned the categories, right? There are five categories of three chapters each. First category, you will get chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 for a combination of 10 marks. 8 to 15, I'm just taking an average of 10 to 12 marks. Okay. So you'll have this, these are non-arithmetic chapters. Everything is practical, but non-arithmetic. There are no numbers in financial policy and corporate strategy. Risk management, slight numbers. Now, advanced capital budgeting decision is something which you already picked up in your intermediate. So in your you have capital budgeting. So these three chapters are basic and simple to solve. So you should be able to do it. So these are low hanging fruits. You should be able to easily score 5-6 marks out of this 10-12 marks. Okay. These are the first three chapters. Now, next step, security analysis and security valuation will become the basis for rest of the chapters. For you to solve or understand something like mutual funds or portfolio management, you need to know the base. So these two chapters are individually important. They'll also serve as a base. So it has a dual benefit. Now, these three chapters will help you build a base, but they're not having a very high weightage in the exam. So it is like touch and go. But when it comes to security analysis, security valuation, and portfolio management, these three chapters, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, you have a combined weightage of almost 20 marks. So it's 25 technically, but I'm just looking at the lower weightage. We always look at the lower weightage. So 20 marks will come from these three chapters. Even if you mark 5 to this, portfolio management, a 10 marker will come, or 2 5 markers will come. Overall 10 marks will be there from portfolio management easily. So these three chapters are relatively easy and there you can score well. So if you look at first 6 chapters, which you can comfortably do in 3 days, in 2 to 3 days, you'll be able to comfortably do this with a weightage of 35 to 40 marks. So this is the advantage of working on the low hanging fruits. I hope this is clear. As I'm speaking to you, you should be able to understand the flow of chapters, like all the chapters which are given. At least you should be able to remember the chapter names: financial policy and corporate strategy, risk management, capital budgeting decisions. 3 chapters together with a weightage of 10 marks at least. These 3 are done. Security valuation, security analysis, security valuation, and portfolio management. 3 chapters, another 20 marks. So 6 chapters are there in your mind clearly. So this is one segment. Moving on to the other one. So securitization, mutual funds, and derivatives. So these 3 chapters will also have a similar weightage. Now, if you look at it, security analysis, security valuation, and portfolio management have the same level of weightage as that of securitization, mutual funds, and derivatives. Here, the constant is derivatives are difficult to understand, complex to understand, not easy to score. So between chapters 4, 5, 6 and chapters 7, 8, 9, most of them, there could be an exception. Somebody might fall in love with derivatives, that is there. But the whole idea is these 3 chapters are relatively easy to score. But having said this, until 9 chapters, we are going ahead and we are completing in the first cycle itself. So 1, 2, 3, simple and straightforward. 4, 5, 6, reasonably easy, good weightage. 7, 8, 9, good weightage. But chapter number 9 would require some additional effort to do it. Okay, so these are about the first 9 chapters. Now 10, 11, 12, I'll come back. Let's move to 13, 14, 15. So 13, 14, 15 has a similar weightage of 1, 2, 3, slightly higher maybe. If you look at it, 1, 2, 3 chapters have a weightage of 10 marks, and 13, 14, 15 also has a weightage of 10 marks. The most important thing in this is startup finance is a simple and small chapter which comes at 5 marks, and you have mergers and acquisition, and also your business valuation is also simpler. So if you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 13, 14, 15 are simple and straightforward chapters. Now coming to the remaining three chapters, Forex, International Financial Management, and Interest Rate Risk Management. These three chapters will have the same weightage of the other chapters, 20 marks only. But you have to put in a lot of mental effort. Again, IFM is relatively easy compared to the other chapters in this scenario. Now, interest rate risk management is smaller chapter. It comes only with 5 marks. So even if you skip 10, 11, 12, you'll be comfortably able to attempt 17 marks. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is we're not skipping even a single chapter. But in the first cycle, let's get comfortable with all the 12 chapters except 10, 11, 12. So this is exactly because it takes some extra amount of time. Once you become confident, once you become confident to score 40 plus marks any which ways, then we can jump and delve into this. Okay. So this is exactly how when we create a schedule, this is the backend using which we create a schedule. And it's a backend. It's not just about the weightage, the amount of time which is required for preparation, the amount of effort required, the amount of attention required, both in the preparation stage, revision stage, and exam presentation stage. So there is the two chapters which are for 10 months. So we will help you pick up a chapter which is easier or relatively manageable at all three levels, not just the weightage. Understood? I hope you're clear about the basis in which we prepare the scheduling process. Is it clear, all of you? Right. So this is the back end. Now let me show you the front end of this. So the real schedule which comes onto the paper. Okay, so this is the overall schedule. I think most of you might have got access to this. So when you're looking at it, again, this is the basis. The biggest advantage which we have here is we further fine tune and customize this every now and then. So see, if we are in a random place watching a YouTube video, this is what we have to stick on the wall. Here we are just providing a basis in terms of what has to happen. From October 1st, things are freezed. From October 1st, it will operate in a very tight line. Until this will give you reasonable flexibility in terms of how you are doing individually and how the cohort is performing. These are broad guidelines, but there will be some changes up and down constantly to meet the requirements. Because for audit, we realized after a particular point, between two exams, you're getting stuck. So now for audit, we removed the regular time frame and will be given some short notes, which you can do with 1 hour per day. Audit runs parallelly through most of the cycles, which is easier for you. And audit, we want to have a vertical preparation where things go and stick on your wall and through conversations. So audit, it's a different strategy where you find it comfortable and easily scoring. Once in a while, we'll write exams. Now coming to AFM and FR, we want you to first have an understanding of the subject. Now, that is the reason why first 2 days we are given you to complete, I would say, the index mapping and also the first three chapters is what you have been asked to complete. The actual cycle happens something like this. So the actual 100-hour strategy happens in a very robust manner where you go through each and every chapter at least 2 to 3 times. So if you look at it, the first 4 days, what we do is these are the simplest chapters. These are the simplest chapters which you can touch up to 70 marks. Now, if you notice here, we already gave you space for business valuation, mergers and all. We'll conduct an exam on day 4. So we'll know how much you're able to learn in the first 50 hours. After that, we'll once again give you additional time to go to the second cycle. See, if you noticed how we do the 5-time revision technique, instead of studying at once for 1 hour, we are breaking into 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 4 or 5 times. So micro level, it's like T20, 5 T20s instead of one test match. So this time we are bringing that efficiency since it has been working like magic in the revision process. We are bringing that efficiency to be attached in the learning process also. So we are adding multiple layers of learning. So you'll be going through learning a particular topic at least 2 to 3 times in quick and frequent intervals. So this is exactly how it is going to be. Now this gets executed. Now this gets executed at a later point of time, but the idea which we are working upon right now is we're making you get acquainted with the entire syllabus of AFM. Now for group 2 people are doing the same for taxation because AFM is one paper which we are very particular about you guys scoring 60 plus. You have to get 60 plus in AFM. So that is the reason why we are increasing the fundamental base. Is it clear? So you don't have to buy hard this, but everything is broken down in a systematic manner. Before you start this cycle, before you started the full-fledged cycle of 100 hours intensively, we are trying to create a boot camp experience for you. Audit, you already had a boot camp experience where you wrote a couple of papers. Now, whether you're 25, 35, 45, but you understood what is audit and what is required. So that is one. So similarly, until 14th or 15th, we are trying to do a small boot camp for AFM. We already got started. You are in day 2, day 3. So this will slightly extend. Before we get into the actual plan, we are creating this impression. So this is at the back end. Now at the front end, I kind of give you very simple and straightforward insights. Like today, you do this chapter 1, chapter 3, 3, 4, 5. That is exactly how we are simplifying this. So back end is very strategic. Front end is very simple. So this is exactly how we are going to do the cycles. Now from your end, now expectation from your end as we are moving forward, we already told you. Let me reshare the screen here. So for us to work efficiently, the killer weapon which we are going to use is silence. Silence. I can't tell you how powerful it is. If there is one critical success factor which has always helpful to me personally while it was exams is silence. So silence is a one point solution to remove all the nonsense happening in your life. Okay, that internal clutter, external clutter, all of that, you just become silent. The moment you become silent, it'll become very powerful. Now, a couple of people who are now being revered as the modern day, gurus, whether it's Vardhamana Mahavira, Gautam Buddha. These guys are not from the a religion has been built around it. But if you understand how they have been glorified, they remain silent for 7 and 10 years. So they just sat silently. That's it. They did nothing, right? You know what Mr. Gautam Buddha did, right? They went and sat in silence for 7 years. That's it. Now you don't have to do that. You just have to do it for 3 to 4 months where you do nothing. Your ability to stay silent will significantly improve the possibility of you clearing the exam. Now, until now, silence has been recommendatory. Now, this becomes an essential condition. It's mandatory. I'm asking you officially to shut up and study. This is a very, very, very important direction given to all of you during all the times. Now, it's no longer a question of break or something. I doesn't care about how much you talk or when you talk and all of that. So this next 1 week, starting from tonight, after this, get into complete silent mode completely, like Vipassana. You're doing nothing. Just get into complete silent mode. You will be amazed with the changes. You'll be amazed with the changes which happens internally, externally, and especially the environment. We are spending lakhs and lakhs into each learning space. Now, even after investing so much amount, if the place is not silent, it's a complete waste of money, waste of energy, waste of effort. So the biggest ingredient into the space is silence. So for us to execute this with a sense of ruthlessness and get the highest benefit and get the highest efficiency, this is something which we have to very, very strictly follow. Right? So in terms of executing, we'll have one more meeting on August 15th. Now on August 15th, we'll give you complete clarity on the entire game plan. So the entire game plan, once again, will tell you. So until then, 13, like 12th, you can execute it right now. So 13, 14, till the follow-up of 15th, make sure you get into complete silent mode. Don't talk to anyone. Already your phones have been taken and there is nothing else which you can do. Even within this, completely get into silent mode. If you have to communicate something, start in writing. Then you'll realize how much unnecessary communication you're making. Like if it is speaking, let's say you're speaking 10,000 words. If I ask you to write, if I ask you to communicate only through writing, you'll hardly find 10 words, which means most of the words which you're speaking are completely useless. Useless and senseless and ridiculous. Can I get an agreement on this? Are we getting into the silent mode? All of you? Can I get assurance? Okay. So all the places wherever you are, if anyone is speaking, just let me know. I'll pull them out. They'll be completely removed from the unit and we'll put them into other zones. Okay. So because even if one person speaks, the whole thing is destroyed. So this is something which we are very, very strict about and very, very particular about, because this is one bottleneck which might destroy all our efforts. Okay, so the bottom line of this conversation: one, both group people, most of you have been given AFM. For some of you, we have asked to start taxation. The reason being, your group 2 might be stronger than group 1, and we're also evaluating it stepwise. So if taxation is given, direct tax, continue. Direct tax people who are writing only one group, we are given more time to dwell deep instead of rushing. So people who are writing only group 2, we are given that accordingly. Now coming to the guys, so we're given you AFM for group 1 people and both group people to continue it. We are doing a boot camp style. So this will conclude with an exam on 14th evening, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You'll write an AFM exam. Now you might get 20, 15, 25, 30, anything is fine. But this is what you're writing, and the rest of you will be writing a DT exam. There are 2 cycles which are happening parallelly. So 15th of August, we'll take the next step. Probably I want to try one more boot camp. So preferably for group 2, we'll do IDT boot camp. Preferably for you guys, both group students, will do FR bootcamp. The advantage of bootcamp is will cover reasonable amount of syllabus in a very quick manner. And you look at August 20th, you suddenly will feel that, okay, already 3 papers have been reasonably covered. That will reduce the FOMO. This paper is not covered, that paper is not come out. And also you'll be extremely productive and efficient by the end of the third boot. So this is exactly what is going to happen. So there is only one expectation from your side: become completely silent. Don't just talk. Get into the game, and previous revision, day end revision are extremely critical. I want all of you to compulsory write day end revision and previous revision every single day. From 14th onwards, I'll introduce a new concept called EMT, Exam Mistake Tracker, that will also be introduced to you. I'll officially explain. And 15th, I'll take you through the entire mentorship process. So now that you are aware of many things, I will assume as if you know nothing. So I'll take you through a complete process, including step-by-step techniques, case studies, and that is one day where you'll get clarity on everything. Hope things are clear. Okay, yeah. So right after this, I'll tell you one example. Generally, after the session concludes, you'll get a compulsion from your mind to say something. Most of you think about it. Normally, it happens with any student gang. You just want to say something. Now, no matter what you say, it's bullshit, because I'm sure it's not going to be any better than what has been already said. So prevent that from saying and listening. Then what happens? Whatever has communicated will be internalized. It's like we did a beautiful painting together. Some random compulsive behavior will force you to draw something on the top of it. You just scribble on the top of the painting. What's the use? Right? So prevent it, because we're creating something intangible in your mind. So to begin with, what should change after the session? No one speaks anything. Just disperse, continue, and work on it. You'll see the difference, because this will, reverberate in your mind continuously. You'll know what, because there's some momentum which is built, some intensity is built. Now, a stupid person saying a stupid thing will dilute the whole thing. So it's no longer a choice. Any extra word spoken, it will collapse the attention of the entire cohort. So we are executing it from this point. So please use this opportunity to rebuild the intensity. I'm telling you, this will add almost 30 to 40% of efficiency every single day, just by becoming silent. I'm not even seeking a oral response from you. A nod of approval is fine, because I want that silence to be started right away. So let's get started. Okay, that's the power of silence, and I actually mean it, because I told you last time, when I say him talks, when the L is there, symbol, it signifies the missing L signifies silence. L silent, silence. So even in a company focused talking, I get paid for talking, but for me, it's the power of silence. At some point of time, people pay for being silent. I'll do that. But right now, the world is not that mature to pay me for being silent. So we'll get there at some point of time. but at least for you, you'll be able to use your silence to significantly improve your preparation. Okay. All right, guys. I'll meet you personally tomorrow. But today, just continue the targets and take it forward. So for the AFM, once you're done with chapters 1, 2, 3, then you're moving to 13, 14, 15, then 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13, 14, 15. 9 chapters should be reasonably done. And keep doing 3 chapters a day. Do not stop. It is not the only cycle you're doing. You'll do at least 2 more cycles. So please do not stop. Get as much acquaintance as possible. The same with direct access. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. And I'll keep you posted with the rest of the things. And